enviable haunches as he prepares to get us up and running. First point goes the way of the Japanese there to make it 1-1. Immediate reaction from him.
One of the most vocal players in the game, the world-renowned Harimoto.
There you go. Evidence straight away.
They both have such compact backhands. Harimoto getting his into play, pinning the crossover of Zhendong, who is the quicker of the two players.
And you were saying?
He can pivot a little bit more seamlessly, Zhendong, can't he? Look at that, just harassing Harimoto's backhand side. Nice variation too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not just the sledgehammer, is it?
Got the silky skills as well.
But that's a big celebration and a big win against the serve there for Tomokazu Harimoto.
Nice push, very deep, and then uses the topspin of Zhendong really nicely there. Harimoto levels up, coming in with his pendulum. And I feel as though when switched into the forehand, Harimoto is just slightly more vulnerable. Rifles it down the line there, Zhendong.
Well, that's uncharacteristic.
But the length on the serve, slightly more half long, created a little bit of indecision. The Chinese knew it was attackable, but only just. But that goes to show they know their best chances when they can get in with the first attack.
But that one goes beyond those first couple of exchanges, and again, it's Zhendong who emerges the winner.
He guided the Chiquita and grew in confidence throughout the rally there. Wang Hao, three-time Olympic finalist, the head coach of the men's team there in the corner for Zhendong. I class that as maybe a bit of an escape, a bit of a bonus point, because Harimoto definitely had him where he wanted him. Zhendong there, just guiding it, and I think Harimoto froze and he knew it. The Japanese.
Oh, that's great. Great play, great athleticism, great placement.
And a willingness to commit. Scorches it, just toasts it.
And this is a strong little passage of play here for Zhendong, disrupting the Harimoto game.
He's not planting his feet too heavily, Fan. Hasn't played into the hands of the Harimoto game plan. Ahead by quite a margin.
And that goes straight through the Japanese player for a very, very handy lead now for Fan Zhendong.
And a handful of points. 2 is the need to wrap up game 1 now for the Chinese player. It's the last thing that Harimoto needed. A faint edge.
And this is some run of points, and it takes him to 6 game points. Fan Zhendong bustling away here in the first.
He can have 4, but no more. Found the new gear here, hasn't he?
11,
Well, without dismissive put away, that is a first game very brutally won by Fan Zhendong. Wins it to 4, and he's on his way. So, instructions going his way, but things very much going according to plan based on the evidence in that first one. And of course, the subplot that you were talking about earlier on concerns Fan Zhendong's place in the rankings, but in terms of the seedings here, well, he's at 3, even if he's actually 4. Only 2 have gone so far. Lim Wun-ru, who was disposed of by Harimoto, and of course, Patrick Francisco, who went out in the round of 32. But Fan Zhendong is certainly looking very, very much deserving of a place right near the top of these seedings.
I mean, imagine how different it could have been. Liang Jingqun and Wang Chuqin just coming through in 5. Felix Lebrun as well against Ball. Ugo Calderano 2 down against Dima. I mean, this could have been a very different event, but when the going gets tough, the tough get going, and there's a reason that they are the best players here. The only one missing, Ma Long, who is currently at world number 2 after a victory at the World Cup, decided not to enter here in Chongqinq.
Yeah, and that's why we have that discrepancy between the world rankings and the seedings here. But boy, oh boy, there's some quality here. And Harimoto is up against this because that was a game that got away from him fast.
One love.
Harimoto has had a win over Fan Zhendong in the last 12 months at the Mixed Team World Cup. But you wonder how the last head-to-head gets into the head of Tomokazu Harimoto. It was at a Champions event, the last one in Incheon. 3-1 it was. To Fan.
1-2.
And even when he's ahead, it just feels like a little bit more of an uphill battle for Tomokazu Harimoto. It feels like there's more ways that the Chinese player can win a point. Just a bit more dynamic with his movement, Fan.
Well, that one goes astray, but you only have to focus on that lower body movement for Fan to see exactly what you're saying.
I guess you only got to rewind the clock to the Worlds where Harimoto beat him. An epic event in Chengdu. But here, Harimoto getting the better of him in this second game. It feels like a must-win. This last round of best of 5 here in the quarters.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can't afford to let this one get away. And that becomes 1-5 now. This is just what Tomokazu Harimoto needed. He will have been not demoralised, but he'll have been certainly set back by the nature of the first game. Goes for that whip on the backhand again, this time not working for him.
Well, he's attacking more than Harimoto, but losing. And you wonder, over the course of the match, Fan Zhendong may be the player more likely to tire.
This is quite something, this game. You're right, though. He expends a lot of energy, even in a losing cause, Fan Zhendong. But there's a focus about Harimoto right now that's impressive.
2-8.
I mean, after what we saw in game one, where it was, what, 4-all and Fan won 7 in a row, this is crazy. You'd be a fool to bet on table tennis.
The crowd quite taken by a stern-looking coach.
Please.
Don't mess with Wang Hao.
2-8.
Looks could kill. Harimoto would be 6 feet deep.
3-8.
And now the crowd comes into Fan Zhendong's assistance.
Been the personal coach of Fan Zhendong for many years, Wang Hao. So sometimes you've got to be cruel to be kind, and, you know...
Looks like the death stare's working.
Well... Still a lot of work to be done. If Harimoto can't finish this, it's probably going to be over. Got to take your chances when you do get them.
And that's 3 in a row now for Fan Zhendong.
Timeout.
And not surprisingly, we hear timeout called. Oh, there you go. That's a little bit more civil. And now all the pressure seems to be perversely piled on Tomokazu Harimoto, even though he's still got the lead, and a healthy one. Always good to hear the instructions just coming through there, and as much as anything, it's going to be a question of Harimoto settling once again, because Fan Zhendong's ripping back into him, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's not too close, he's not getting sucked into the...
8.
Too close to the table game with Harimoto.
Big choice of serve, big point to win.
Really like that from Harimoto. Perfect positioning. Fan Zhendong didn't step around soon enough. Bit of the forehand off that.
6-9.
But you can feel the pressure building on the shoulders of Harimoto here. Still doesn't look that comfortable.
Oh, that backhand. Savage.
7.
That is cruel, that is mean. He has just put Harimoto on the naughty step. That is untouchable for anyone in the world.
And here it is again, the other way.
8.
What does Harimoto need to do?
Maybe have another timeout. Are there any flashes in the crowd?
Well, he's won 6 of the last 8 points now, Fan Zhendong. He hasn't just won them, he's brutalized them. But that is massive.
10.
And he knows it. Game points.
You could feel the stress relief of that winner.
And it's a 1-point game now. Fan Zhendong back to 9-10.
He's got to be positive here, Harimoto. To not take a risk is the biggest risk he can take. You know Fan Zhendong is not going to give him an easy point here.
And he draws level of 10s.
10.
And it just feels almost inevitable as he creeps up on Harimoto.
This could be the turning point, John. Juice here in the second game. He fans himself down, Harimoto. Can you get him with a strong attack?
Oh, it hangs in the air. It goes long. And it's now game point, Fan Zhendong. Wang Hao approves. What a comeback it's been. He takes it and he deals a crushing blow in more ways than one to Harimoto.
He's not just stolen his lunch money there. He's just bought the tastiest thing possible and eaten it right in front of the Japanese player. He is going to feel humiliated, Harimoto. Goodness knows how he's going to be able to forgive himself and turn it around from this position, John.
11-4, 12-10. He's in front. So if we take a little look at the world rankings, and we see Fan Zhendong in 4, well, thereby hangs the tail, which we've told you a few times already this week. He has an incentive, and he is very, very much demonstrating his appetite for the game here in Chongqinq, as he has blasted Harimoto away in the first, and then come back from seemingly down and out in the second to lead 11-4, 12-10.
Zhendong to serve. Last all.
Well, that's encouraging because your eyes inevitably now on Harimoto and see how he responds to what has just happened.
Well, he plays a lot more relaxed, fluidly there. I mean, you have to say, despite the comeback of Fan, Harimoto did bottle it. From that kind of scoreline, when you're a top 10 player, you've got to finish. You've got to finish. You cannot rely on your opponent to keep making mistakes.
And we spoke beforehand, didn't we, about what he needs to do to be a top 10 player to get even higher than that. And I think you've just given us the answer.
Well, he's dropped slightly, Harimoto, just outside there. Lin Zhendong squeezing in front, but yeah.
3 love.
And is it going to happen again? Because he's building his way into another position of strength in this third game.
We see it. We see so many players challenge the Chinese, but then they stop and think about it. And that's when it all goes wrong, really.
Well, that didn't go wrong at all. Did superbly there with the return and earns a 4th point in this game. Slow start from Zhendong, but credit to his opponent.
Nice push. It just had a bit more vigour to it there.
Well, he can do this part, can't he? Harimoto, no trouble. Looking good, en route to a healthy lead.
He's got tight serves, good touch and push play. He's trying to develop his counter, but he can't just block and hope. Like he did, really. And you saw what Zhendong did with the dismissive finishes in the last game to come back.
And we've seen that before as well. But it's 5-1. And of course it's a must win. And then must win again for Harimoto. Stamped on the serve, stamped in frustration at the end of the point.
Well, he's the one closer to the table. He's the one that feels like he should win the rally from there. But Fan just chiseling away at this wall of a blocker. 5-2 still to Harimoto.
But he's lost both of those points.
3-5.
He went with a long serve both times, lost both points, and now you look to his mental state.
And none of his practice partners are getting that backhand back. But Zhendong did. His game 3 so far this event has been the poorest. Remember, Yi Sang-soo destroyed him, nearly lost the third. Same against Chongqinq, actually lost the third. But what about here?
3-6.
Well, again, it's Tomokazu Harimoto with what looks like a healthy cushion, but is it? And again, the double stamp for Harimoto, who knows he had his chance. Total emotional investment from Tomokazu Harimoto. And there's a bit of catharsis about some of these shots he plays. It all comes out, all the frustration, all the pent-up rage.
It's fuel to the fire. That's the first time we've seen that forehand flick come into action. And what a flick it was.
And what a return!
4-8.
He bit the bait, Zhendong. Tempted him into it, Harimoto. Took him out the other way. Burgled.
Now's his time. But we've been here before, Fraser, with Harimoto.
And will he reminisce? Will he feel that deja vu? Or is he too in the moment, too focused, too confident to let it slip again? Nice flick, Chiquita from Harimoto. And that receive is key to make Fan Zhendong a little bit more indecisive if he does pivot. Surely Harimoto's going to finish this.
9.
I'll just say we've been here before. It's Fan Zhendong. When he gets a bit of speed up, he's unstoppable.
He gets into this zone where you just know he can't lose the point. That's what he is a force in table tennis.
But
10,
to move now to 10-5 to 5 game points, surely he gets it done this time, Harimoto. He'll have to wait.
10.
Well, he was convinced that Fan Zhendong would block that cross table, but look at this for a unparalleled parallel. How he gets behind it, how low he is, Fan Zhendong.
Still 4 game points though. And he gets there.
6.
And what
Game
might have
2,
been had he
Harimoto.
taken out the second. But as it is, he finds himself with a way back into this one, trailing by 2 games to 1. He's alive and kicking. And it's 2 games to 1 to Fan Zhendong. Well, if nothing else, Fraser, this is a compelling encounter here. Tomokazu Harimoto's not done a whole lot wrong, because arguably he could be 2-1 up here. Instead, he's 2-1 down. What's he doing with the ball?
Half-long serves into the middle and then trying to go right into the backhand of Fan. He's trying to keep it as far away from that forehand as he can, the Japanese player.
And if you are pinning your colours to Harimoto, you'd be encouraged to know that he's sort of got stronger in this tournament, you know, in matches. He's shown some character, he's found something in the face of adversity. Can he do it here? Because remember, he still trails.
Harimoto to serve. Last all.
If he is going to tempt Fan Zhendong into a forehand, it can't be directly into it. It has to be in an area where Fan Zhendong would then lose a bit of positioning at the table. But, you know, even when he's manoeuvred out of position, Fan Zhendong can still be lethal with his attacks. And that's something that Harimoto isn't. He needs to be in position up to the table, really, to be able to play a belter.
Oh, we've seen that frustration before. But it's not a terrible thing, it's just what he is.
He's desperate to beat Team China players. I mean, he's one of the best against them. 36%, same as Zhang Wujin's.
But this is a game, and remember, it's a must-win game for the Japanese that's going completely in opposition to the way that we've seen the previous 2, where he stretched out to an early lead. Now he trails by 3.
One, 3.
Brilliant,
2,
brilliant
3.
in terms of returning that flashed backhand of Fan Zhendong.
He fed off the pace very well. Got back to the backhand corner and he had to because of Fan Zhendong's attacks there. But survives in the end, Harimoto. Could he level?
Even he'd given up on it off the backhand, and he levels up somehow.
How on earth has he got this back? Here, look at that. From Harimoto, a fanning backhand. Miraculous. But like it was going to go past him.
Sheer reflexes. Incredible.
Four in a row.
3-4.
Wow. Where has this come from here?
It's come from a good place, obviously, for Harimoto, because he exudes belief right now. Very impressive.
Well, he finds Fan Zhendong a bit easier to play than he does against Wang Chichin. Seen that in the recent results that he's had.
And again, he seems to believe he's going to get everything back.
But whenever someone gets in front, the other bounces back. It's just kind of counterintuitive.
That's what's made it such a fun one to watch this. You know, the boxing analogy is they're literally just trading blows. You know, they're going toe to toe, and we're seeing runs of 3 or 4 points, and the other player just comes straight back at them.
What a serve, what a suffocating, handcuffing serve there. He does it again. Harimoto, it's a double bluff. A long serve. And Fan Zhendong stepped in, caught out. So deep, so quick. And the same motion. Best services are the simplest of motions.
Again, he gets it back. And if there's one theme of this game, it's that he has returned brilliantly when he looked like he had no right to do so.
And he had to, because he is the more block-orientated player. He's not as quick as Fan. He's not as athletic. He's not as flexible. But what he can do is anticipate and use your pace, Harimoto. He's managed to do it in better areas to come back.
7-5.
Comes a big point for Fan Zhendong, keeps him within touching distance.
And you wonder how much the sort of last year has taken its toll on Fan. Because you're never a shoo-in as a Chinese player, but Harimoto knew this whole time he was going to be there at the Olympics as the #1 Japanese player. Japan have gone through a tough spot. They've struggled to even get a second player in the top 20 in the world.
The quality on show here when it matters most. But again, the camera tellingly focuses on this man. It's on him at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good or bad, win or lose.
Just too pretty. Look how low he got Fan Zhendong. Could have done the limbo. And this Chiquita right through the fingers, he flicked. And Harimoto had stepped the corner. No telling. What a receive from the world champion.
And he's coming good in the fourth when it matters. Gets his nose in front again.
I mean, that was just a reminder, and you can see Harimoto, the hope has drained out of him a little bit here, and he's going to have to tell himself, come on, you're just a point behind. But it's another comeback from Fan.
It's another point for the man from China, who's taken 6 of them out of the last 8 available at the most important point in this whole match.
He is the one relishing here in the ecstasy of combat, Fan Zhendong. Harimoto looks like he's resenting this just a little bit.
But it's not as if he's given it away. Fan Zhendong has gone and won these points. He's shown the ambition, the quality. And now he stands on the brink of victory. 3 match points for Fan Zhendong, who's timed his run to perfection. And there we are. The crowd erupts.
Mission complete. The box is ticked. 3-1.